What the hell's a grappler? A grappler is a character that primarily uses throws in order to go on the offensive. A lot of the time, the character traits that you would usually put on these guys is being big and being very slow. I say this only because it usually happens like this, but some characters are different. And of course, you've seen the most popular. You got Zangief, the big body Russian. You got the charitable luchador, King. And the gentle warrior, Potemkin. All in their own ways show how the grappler archetype can excel in fighting games. And although they're very popular, I love these guys more. Tager, from BlazBlue Central Fiction, and Urdah, from Rushdown Revolt. But let's go over Tager first. Tager really breaks conventional standards when it comes to grapplers. See, a grappler's main problem when it comes to attacking someone is the act of getting in. Because you're slower, because you don't have the movement options that other people do, trying to get in only to be usually beaten by projectiles can suck. And usually the only sort of pressure that you can really give to an opponent is when you finally get in and you threaten a big damage move. However, Tager flips this on his head with his character trait. His character trait is magnetism, and every single time that he hits someone with what is called a drive button, it will be applied to the opponent. But what is so threatening about this sort of thing? Well, he can do this. With certain buttons and with certain moves, he brings a character closer to him. This flips the entire dynamics when it comes to being a grappler. Because usually mid-range and the long-range game sucks for you. But with one button, with one press, with one hit, you can go the distance. Certain grabs, certain hits now become more threatening to the opponent. Especially when you can hold out a button and just wait for someone to do a move. This creates a lot of fear tactics when it comes to the opponent, because the act of now doing certain moves could actually put you in the ranges of getting grabbed by him, doing massive damage. Sure, he doesn't have a conventional air dash or he doesn't have double jumps, but he does have something else. This amount of fear, the way that you can condition someone in order to do certain plays, really makes him terrifying, and it makes him so unique when it comes to the grappler archetype. Especially when he can do stuff like this.
How do you burst? Hold on. How do you burst? No, I'm getting trolled on my stream. Hold on. How do I burst? You can't time me out though. So you can't time me out.
God, he's so cool. Sure, there's other things that I could talk about, such as the fact that he has a chargeable projectile that he can use on people and get it back, or the fact that some sort of air attacks actually give him mobility options. But to be honest with you, those are small dishes in comparison to the main course that is the character trait. Tager is honestly just one in a million. The ability to just change the way that you actually have to face an archetype is something that I really haven't seen done too much. It just speaks to me how special Tager really is. And it's why personally that I think he's one of my favorite grapplers. He's just a diamond in the rough. But there is another one that I like a whole lot. Urdah is simply one of my favorites because she's just so fun to play. See, unlike most grapplers, she's actually quite mobile. But that makes sense because in this game, every single hit that you deal the opponent, you could just cancel it into something. So, it'd be really hard if she couldn't move at all. Whether it's air dashing, whether it's super jumping, or whether using some sort of specials, it is actually really easy in order to get in at the opponent once you see a weakness. Kinda reminds me of a freight train. You kinda think that these things are very slow until you actually stand next to one and see it blazing past through you. This mobility really pairs well with the amount of baits that she can do against people. For example, forward air for her move is ridiculous. It kills exceptionally early, and if you charge it, oh my gosh, it hits like the sun. So what you do is you condition people that you're going to hit them with forward air only to bait their own sort of defensive reactions and hit them with other moves. It's kind of how Pop Buster works for Potemkin. Like, you really expect Pop Buster every single time just for them to do some other different option that you didn't even think about, and then you get hit. But if this is all that she had, she would be a little boring. And that's why she has something all to herself. See, in Super Smash Bros., Donkey Kong could do something called cargo throw. You can grab someone, move the stick up, and then you can travel along with them until you can finally throw them out in a different direction. Urdah can do this too, but with way more options. As you can see, there is a lot of things that you can do with these cargo throws. If you want a better position so you can throw someone and kill them, you can do that. If you want to bounce them off the stage and use it as a sort of mix-up, you can do that as well. How I describe it is that she's very flexible in order to use any sort of thing on the opponent. So strategies that you wouldn't really think that Urdah could do because she's a grappler actually can be made. Add this all together. You have someone that's mobile, you have someone that's really fun, and she's a Swiss Army knife when it comes to strategies. Although she's not as groundbreaking as, say, Tager, just the fact that she's just concise, she's fun, she has everything that I would want in a grappler. And definitely the biggest reasons of why she's one of my favorites. And don't get me wrong, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of great grapplers out there. Maybe you could put it in the comment, below so I can talk about it. But honestly, these two are just my favorites. They're so fun, and they're really interesting. And I just hope that there's more appreciation for them. Well, I guess there's only one more thing to say. Arxis? Where the fuck is the new BlazBlue game, Arxis?